folks, this is Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're watching WGS-TV. Tough guy.
Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer and ZFX-TV. I'm Double B Bully Bujo, and boy oh boy, this is going to be one hell of a review. The review for WrestleMania 29. But I'm not here by myself, guys. I've got quite a few people to introduce you to. First off, he is the host of Hardcore Wrestling Radio, which can be heard every Wednesday night on blogtalkradio.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio. It's the Illuminous one, the shining star, Rick Starr. Rick, how are you shining tonight?
Oh, after that pay-per-view, I think I'm doing all right, Billy. Thanks for having me.
And ladies and gentlemen, he is the host of Jmuga TV on YouTube.com/Jmuga TV, the one and only Jmuga himself. Jmuga, what's up?
Thanks for having me, Billy.
A very good friend of ours returns to WGS-TV tonight. Well, two good friends return to WGS-TV tonight. First off, our old friend from WGS Radio returns. James is here. James, how are you this evening?
I'm doing fine. I'm just ready to get review of this WrestleMania.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's also been in hibernation since 2011 on WGS Radio, but he is back and he is here tonight on WGS TV for the WrestleMania 29 review. It is the man known as Alfie. Alfie, the Alphinator. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, thanks, Billy. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, and somewhere a lonely mouse sits in obscurity listening to the review. So
yeah, that's me, and McDonald's gave me the wrong bun.
Well, as people will take that in on misconstrue that on so many different levels. Now, a lot of people won't consider the Intercontinental title match to be a part of WrestleMania, but you know what? I will, because I'm going to give it the proper respect by actually talking about it here on the review. The Intercontinental title on the line, Wade Barrett defending against The Miz. Now, first off, shame on the WWE for putting what is supposed to be one of your most prestigious secondary titles in your company. Many people consider it to be more prestigious than the WWE Championship, because look at the people who have held the title. Bret the Hitman Hart, Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, Roddy Piper, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. The list is a very prestigious list, and now you've reduced it to being defended on the pre-show. I really don't think that, if anything, the 8-man tag match, the mixed tag match, which ended up getting scrapped tonight, that match should have been on the pre-show, and your Intercontinental title match should have been on your main card. I really disagree with WWE's structuring of the matches tonight. But the matchup in itself, I thought it was great. Saw Wade Barrett bring out the wasteland, couldn't put the Miz away, and no matter what Wade Barrett could have done, he just couldn't get the job done. And we see Miz, the finish of the match came with Miz grabbing the ankle, the leg, and taking down Wade Barrett while he was on his back and administering the figure 4 leg lock on his back, something that me being a wrestling fan of 25 years, I have never seen anyone do. I've never even seen Ric Flair administer the figure 4 leg lock while he was on his back or on his butt. You know, he's always been from a standing position, so very unique way to do it. And Miz gets Wade Barrett to tap out. So Miz is your new Intercontinental Champion. I think the Intercontinental title looks good on the Miz, and it really does help for if they're really going to continue a feud with Miz and Wade Barrett, having Miz get the championship tonight, I think was a very good move on the WWE's part. Albeit, I still say mistake for putting your Intercontinental title match being the key phrase on your pre-show instead of your main card. I would have given it a 4.5 out of 5, but I am taking that 0.5 off and giving it just a 4 out of 5 for my extreme disagreement for your Intercontinental title match being on your pre-show. So technically now we're going to go to the opening of WrestleMania 29, Rick, as we saw the Shield take on Sheamus, Randy Orton, and the Big Show. Rick, did this 3-man team finally stop the Shield, or do we still believe in the Shield?
Well, before we do that, yes, we'll get to that. But well, for 1 second, I'd like to talk about your match for 1 second, Billy, if I may.
Mhm.
You know, you seem to be really against the fact that this was a pre-show match rather than an opening or a part of WrestleMania.
Do
And
you not consider a title match, again, which is a title match, a very prestigious title in the WWE, should be defended on your main card, not on the pre-show for free?
well, you know what though? I don't see anything wrong with it. For if anything, I think it doesn't hurt it because for one, the match, like you said, it was a great match. A title did change hands. You know, the fans in the crowd don't see any difference between a pre-match or a post-match. They saw the match, and you know, everybody got to watch it for free. So you know what? If anything, I thought I see that as a plus, rather than watching just the regular bullshit matches that where like I'd rather see that than a Tons of Funk match.
No, you
I
do,
see that as a plus.
uh,
That's just me.
by the way, hashtag Snooki can go to hell.
Yeah, you know.
Amen.
Oh God.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Hallelujah.
But
Hallelujah.
if anybody else had something to chime in, I'll give them a second. But
Well,
okay, but moving on.
I kind of have
Go ahead.
have something to say. It's basically what I'm thinking of is that I think WWE kind of overdid a couple stuff at the in the end, because there has been there was stuff cut out, and the fact is that they moved it. I think that is a positive thing, that because they might have had the fact they might have cut the Intercontinental Championship maybe short, should they have put it on the regular card, because they already had a whole lot of stuff they did with the whole concert and long promos and stuff whatnot.
well, that is an interesting point. But one thing we need to note about this year's WrestleMania, Rick, this is the first WrestleMania in about 2 or 3 years where the opening match has not been the World Heavyweight title match.
This is true, and right now, we're talking back to the Shield versus Randy Orton, Big Show, and Sheamus, and this was really a great match. And I'm going to tell you, I'm starting to believe in the Shield. During this 6-man match, Dean Ambrose, speared Randy Orton while Sheamus was outlying on the outside. As Orton got tagged in, something weird happened. Big Show just kind of sat there, and he looked aggravated because I guess he didn't get tagged in. And Ambrose just pinned him, Orton, for the win. Now, after the match, Big Show kind of gets in, and just as Sheamus rolls in, before Sheamus can even get to his feet to find out what the hell happened, he gets, boom, KO'd. Orton goes to ask, Big Show, what the hell's your problem? And boom, he gets knocked out. And there's your match. The match itself was really good. The match went back and forth. I'd have to give it, a 4 out of 5.
I agree with you, Rick.
Not many people would say they were surprised to see the Big Show do that. Well, next up, Jmuga, we had Mark Henry taking on Ryback. So, was Ryback fed tonight, or did Mark Henry induct Ryback into the Hall of Pain?
Well, what happened today was that Mark Henry inducted Ryback into the Hall of Pain, Pain or whatever. But then I guess that Ryback just got upset and extra mad, and then he picked him up and body slammed him on the ring. So that's what happened after on that. I think that was a very good match.
Yeah, shell shock. And
I think that was a good match.
Rick, one thing that still puzzles me is the way they finished the match. You had Ryback with an attempt at the shell shock, and he just loses his footing and just falls face first, given the impression that he was knocked out, and Mark Henry pins him. So officially, Mark Henry wins the match. So, do you understand the thinking, the concept as to why WWE might have played out the match like that, where they had Mark Henry actually win it, but then they showed Ryback being dominant and actually shell-shocking Mark Henry at the end?
Well, I think they wanted to swerve it, so they didn't want Mark Henry to win the match, but they didn't want him to go what's called going over, as what you would call it, meaning they still had to give Ryback to go over at the end, where he would give him ultimately the shell shock and say where he gets get the upper hand at the end of the match, so to speak, if you can understand that.
All right, well, let's talk about the next match with James here. James, the tag team titles were on the line. So we saw Team Hell No defend the titles against Dolph Ziggler and Big E Langston. Do we have new tag team champions tonight, or do the championships stay with the Team Hell No? And also, while you're talking about the match, I want to get your impressions and on your first look at Big E Langston. How did he look to you?
Well, here's what it was. It was like a little swerve in the beginning with the whole Dolph Ziggler getting the good luck kiss from AJ, and then you had Daniel Bryan give Dolph Ziggler a kick for a 2 count.
I love the fact you brought that up. I was on Twitter all night long during WrestleMania at twitter.com/TheWrestleGamer if you guys want to live tweet with me during the shows from now on. And, that was the big thing that everybody was blowing up their Twitter walls was about, that we almost had a repeat of what happened at last year's WrestleMania, except now with the shoe being on the other foot in the form of Daniel Bryan giving the kick towards Dolph Ziggler. I love the fact that you brought that up, James.
Yeah, thank you. But anyway, after Hell No was getting dominant with Dolph Ziggler, Big E Langston came in and was actually a good dominant competitor, and he had control over the majority of the match. But then at the end, the fact is that we still have tag team champions in Team Hell No. When AJ threw the briefcase it, and Ziggler tried to hit Kane with it, but missed, and then Kane gave him a chokeslam and tagged in Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan gave him a headbutt from the top rope, 1, 2, 3.
Your score on the match?
The score on the match, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. I just kind of wish there was more. I thought I should have saw it a little differently, but I think I agree with the fact that to keep the title with Team Hell No instead of breaking them up, which a lot of people was gonna say.
Jmuga, a question for you about this tag team title match. Considering it was so early in the card and the fact that the match didn't take that long, I think at that time, do you believe that what a lot of people were thinking? Did you believe that after seeing that Dolph Ziggler at some point later in the evening would be cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase?
Yes, I did. After we saw his first attempt, I thought that he was gonna try to do it again.
Rick, up next we had Fandango, the debut, finally, of Fandango here at WrestleMania as he took on Chris Jericho. Rick, was it Dancing with the Stars, or did Y2J prevail over the newcomer Fandango, who apparently will never cry over spilled milk?
Well, I'm not gonna say it certainly wasn't Dancing with the Stars. This match, I hate to say, it was probably one of the worst matches of the night. I was really expecting to see Fandango shine through and get put over, and become, and show us what kind of a wrestler he was. Because if you remember when guys like Dolph Ziggler first came in the business, we gave him a lot of shit because he didn't do nothing. All he did was talk and talk, but then when he finally started coming in, he was great and he did a lot of stuff. And then all of a sudden, but this guy, he came in the match and all he did was punch and kick and stomp and run around the ring. The only thing he did was his guillotine leg drop off the top rope. Jericho carried the whole entire match. I'm sorry, but the match sucked. And then Jericho did the lion salt, and he feigned an injury, but which he couldn't even. That was a bad sell. And then Fandango rolls him up for a win. I have to give it 2 out of 5.
Well, you know what? I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna bust it up to a 2.5 out of 5. And for one reason and one reason only, and it was the hot dancing girls at the beginning of Fandango's entrance. None other than that.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, Billy,
the opening entrance wasn't too bad.
Yes?
let me just say, I wouldn't even give it a 2 or a 2.5. I would give it a 0.25 because it just from hearing about it and seeing a pirated thing on YouTube. Fandango, go back to NXT, please.
Yeah,
save us all.
Exactly. I'm sorry, but this is WrestleMania. This isn't. If this was Raw, I probably would have given it a 2.5. This is WrestleMania. This is the granddaddy of them all. And you know what? Vince is endorsing you, and you fucked it up royally. I'm sorry. No, 2. It doesn't deserve it.
Alfie,
Sorry.
He has returned.
Alfie, I gotta ask you: the premiere of Fandango, was it a success, or do you feel that it flopped? Everybody else is feeling that it flopped. What do you say?
I don't think it was that bad, but I expected more. I don't think he did much. Chris Jericho just kind of went along with it.
And that's what a lot of people are thinking, is because of the fact that he barely did anything in that match. I want to say Jericho carried the match. I want to say anywhere between 75 to 80% of the match. James, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I feel like it was more Chris Jericho. It wasn't Fandango. It wasn't that great of a match, to be honest.
All right, so you know what, Rick? Let's go with Rick and what Chris said. 0.25 out of 5. But the hot dancing girls at the beginning of the entrance will get a 3 out of 5.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
It's sad when the opening segment gets better than the match itself.
Well, up next we have the World Heavyweight title on the line. Alberto Del Rio defending against Jack Swagger. Key thing to note, pardon me, about this match and this title match. Now, for one thing, a lot of the crowd didn't really care for it too much, and at a lot of points during the match, you can actually hear the crowd chanting for Dolph Ziggler, because a lot of fans are really expecting Ziggler to cash in. I think, for one thing, the fans were actually wrong to not care about this match, because I thought the build to the match was actually very good. They did a hell of a lot more in the build for Del Rio and Swagger than they did for Roxina. But Roxina honestly really didn't need that much of a build, considering everything that's been done and gone on between these two. You really don't need that much of a build. But Del Rio and Swagger, I believe, really worked hard for the build, and the match in itself, I thought it was real good. Another key thing to note about this, I guess maybe consider a WWE's way of punishing Jack Swagger for some of his misdeeds outside of the WWE. Swagger didn't get an entrance for WrestleMania. No entrance at all for Jack Swagger. I mean, we had a video package, and then as soon as the video package was over, boom, Swagger and Zeb Coulter were already in the ring. So, Rick, would you see that as maybe WWE's way of getting at Jack Swagger for some of his misconduct and some of his misdeeds outside of the WWE?
I would usually say yes, but they did get to do their opening shoot. So if they didn't do their normal spiel, and I even suspected that he was going to lose to begin with, even before he got in trouble. So I'll take it that way. Keep in mind that Raw was on a time span, so they probably said, okay, we're gonna cut you, not necessarily as a punishment. Another thing, if you ask me, I think that he's gonna lose here, and then he's gonna go over for his next feud, Antonio Cesaro.
Del Rio gets the finish of the match came with Del Rio getting the cross arm breaker. He did the big flip on it, and the way Swagger landed, it looked like he might have landed shoulder first, but it was a very impactful landing, and all around the match was very, very good. I have to give it a 4 out of 5. But the big thing to know about this, WWE did not pull the trigger and have Ziggler cash in Money in the Bank. Jmuga, I gotta ask you. Jmuga, I gotta ask you. Were you shocked at the fact that WWE did not pull the trigger and have Dolph Ziggler cash in Money in the Bank tonight?
Yes, I was very shocked. That was one of the things I was expecting, and I think a lot of fans and a lot of people was expecting that or waiting for that, but I guess it never. I guess they didn't go through with it, and it really sucked. So yeah.
Up next was by far
Billy,
yes.
about that previous match, Alberto Del Rio versus Jack Swagger,
Yes.
and about the punishment Jack Swagger,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's punishment enough to be put with Zeb Coulter, don't you think? Because that mustache mustache will give anybody nightmares.
Hey, that's the dirty one, Dutch Mantel. Really, you better remember that. Don't disrespect the legend.
Dutch Mantel's incredible.
Yeah, even though this character may not be, don't disrespect the man. I mean, the man's a legend. That's all I can tell you. But speaking of legendary, James, you're gonna get the honor to talk about this very next match. By far, an incredible match. The streak on the line. The Undertaker against the best in the world, CM Punk with Paul Heyman. I gotta give him his little credit. James, is it 20-1 or is it 21-0? Talk about.
Well, Punk came out with the band performing live for his entrance, and then Undertaker came out with that very great come out with all the.
Oh, that be.
That was so scary. Anyway,
wait, hold on. I want to get everybody's reactions to the entrance of the Undertaker. Rick, I want to start you. What were your initial reactions to that entrance made by the Undertaker tonight?
I have to say it was probably one of his best. I liked it. I liked the hand. At first, I thought, is that the crowd? I'm like, no, that's like his actual new entrance. That's like an actual part of the entrance. And I liked it. That was pretty cool. It was pretty ghoulish.
Yeah, it's like he was rising up from the netherworlds with the hands of lost souls reaching out for him.
Yeah, that was very, very ghoulish.
Jmuga, what did you think about that one?
Anything that Undertaker does is epic, and I love it, and it just rocks. So I'm all for it.
Chris, if you could find that entrance somewhere online for you to watch it. You will be mesmerized at the entrance of the Undertaker tonight at Wrestlemania.
I'm on it right now.
A quick note: we're having some technical issues with Alfie. We're going to try to get him back for you guys. But anyway, James, back to you. Talk about the match. What happened?
Whew. This one was a great back and forth match between Punk and Taker. You saw at one point Taker had control, and then Punk, even to the point where Punk even used Undertaker's own move of old school. I'm like, wow, this was very interesting. And this point in times, like, Undertaker could have got counted out or disqualified, but even to the point where Punk landing an elbow on the outside on the announce table. I'm surprised that table didn't break. But at the end, it is 21-0. Undertaker wins with a Tombstone Power Driver. 1, 2, 3.
I think it shocked a lot of fans that spot, the elbow drop off the top rope onto the table, that the table did not give way. And Rick, I think we both kind of noticed that CM Punk may have further aggravated his knee problems by that table not breaking on that spot.
Yeah, absolutely. There has been some reports that Punk's going to be taking some time off post WrestleMania, and that probably just cinched it in. So we probably won't see Punk after on Raw tomorrow night.
Alfie, that table not breaking, how painful did that look to you?
Oh my god. I sat there watching it, I was like, oh, Jesus, it break! I was expecting it to go straight through, break down, great spot, but no, god, oh, it's awful. I thought he had landed on his side until the other camera angle where I saw it hit the back of his knee.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, before WrestleMania started, I had heard that he was going to take time off, and this has only aggravated the problem.
Definitely. So if he's taking time off, it'll give him time to heal and correct all of those issues with his knee. James, very quickly, once again, because I don't think I caught it, your score for Undertaker and CM Punk?
I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Well, you know what? Just to compensate, let's bump it up to 4.75 out of 5. How about
I thought
that?
it was a great match.
Well, Jmuga, up next, man, the no-holds-barred confrontation between Triple H and Brock Lesnar was up next with Triple H's career on the line. Paul Heyman in the corner of Brock Lesnar. Shawn Michaels, HBK, Mr. WrestleMania in the corner of the game, Triple H. Is he still with the WWE, or did Brock Lesnar retire, the former multiple-time WWE champion?
Well, the answer to that question goes to that the game is still in the game. You know what I mean? He's still undefeated. He's still, he's still a beast, and he still has a job at the WWE.
This was by far, Rick, a remarkable match. I mean, this was, if I have to pick one match that I myself found I was really into and really anticipated and really excited during this match, it had to be this one, because there were just so many things they did that were just so unbelievably well done and so unbelievably freaking awesome in this match.
Yeah, this was really a brutal match. This wasn't really a technical match, but this was really, just a brutal fight. And that's the way they called it. They said it's going to be a fight, and it really was. But there was a lot of good spots. I remember that they didn't even take off like a little, covers. And I remember that Brock Lesnar just picked up Triple H, and he just suplexed him from the floor onto the announce table. And then that which was absolutely crazy.
Something we also need to make mention: the table did break in that instance.
Yes, he did. And then I'm not mistaken that afterwards he powerbombed or power slammed him onto the table, like the collapsed table afterwards, moments later. And I was like, holy shit. They were just throwing each other into like the guardrail several times. Brock's ribs were all banged up. And that was just the beginning, the first few moments of the match.
Yes, definitely. It got to the point where Brock Lesnar started administering the Kimura lock. Yes, the Kimura lock that we've seen used so much, especially in their last confrontation back at SummerSlam, starting to being used again. We saw it 3 times on Brock Lesnar, but then Triple H starts to turn the tide. He starts to fight back, and at one point, Brock Lesnar is charging at Triple H in the corner. Triple H gets out of the way, and Brock Lesnar goes shoulder first into the steel post. Triple H then pulls him shoulder first all the way down to the ground on the outside and starts working over the shoulder against the steel post, then gets the chair and then just completely annihilates Lesnar's elbow and arm against the steel post with the chair. And then the steel steps, which Lesnar brought in and used against Triple H in this match already, he had his arm draped on those steel steps, and Triple H said, bitch, and then just really annihilated that arm. And then we saw Triple H started using the Kimura lock. James, the only thing that I can say about the spots where Triple H was using the Kimura lock was revenge.
Yeah, this is what it's like. It's redemption for Triple H. Brock Lesnar quote unquote broke Triple H's on not once but twice, and Triple H using this move not 1 time, not 2 times, not 3 times. Even though Lesnar slams Triple H onto the steps, Triple H locks that hold back in. That is the ultimate sign that he wanted that revenge. He wanted to win.
And to me, Rick, it kind of makes sense that they had Triple H kind of wear down Lesnar towards the finish of the match using the Kimura lock after everything that Lesnar had done to Triple H in 2012 using the Kimura lock.
Yeah, and in fact that Brock brought those steps in came into play in more ways than one, because the last time that Brock slammed him down, Triple H said, not this time. Being the cerebral assassin that he was, grabbed Brock by the hooked up his head and countered into a DDT.
Yes, and then we got to go to the finish of the match, the finishing move. Alfie, your reactions. Pedigree on the steel steps.
When he first I saw him attempting the pedigree. I was wondering how Brock was going to land it. Was he going to go knees first on top of it and do like kind of hunched over thing? But no, he done the right thing, put the knees behind the thing. I thought that was a great way to end the match.
One thing we also need to note, in the first attempt at the pedigree in the match, Brock Lesnar did screw up. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, he fell to his knees. Yeah, he kind of fell to his knees, like on his stomach a bit.
Jmuga, your score for Triple H versus Brock Lesnar?
4 out of 5, I believe it is.
Now,
Yeah.
like I said at the beginning of the review, we were scheduled to have a mixed tag match in the form of Tons of Funk and the Funkadactyls taking on Team Road Scholars and the Bellas. We were all expecting that match to kind of be the filler match before the main event. And then, lo and behold, Rick, shocker of shockers, John Cena's music hits. And we're all sitting there kind of scratching our heads as to, why didn't we have a blow-off match, a blow-off period between Triple H, Lesnar, and John Cena and The Rock? Do you agree or disagree with that move?
Well, you know what? I think I'm not really I can't complain. I think when people want to see that match, I mean, to me, it didn't really matter either way.
Okay, the main event.
So, when you can't get up to that, when you get up to that point, and there's only that one of the last two matches, the Tons of Funk, I wouldn't want a Tons of Funk in between the two matches. You know what I mean? Those two great matches, that wouldn't be a blow-off. I would have expected a blow-off match to be a little bit something on a higher level. The Tons of Funk you should have had earlier in the match, like earlier in the show, pay-per-view. Once it got higher up, I was starting to say, okay, where is this pay-per-view? That would have been really shitty.
Another thing I noticed about this match was they didn't have a video package beforehand.
Well, because they've been playing video packages throughout the entire pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, of course that one bit, but you would expect, you wouldn't just expect, scenes come out, and as you said, you were scratching your head. You at least think, they put something there.
Rick, what about a possible scenario they could have used where they brought out Antonio Cesaro, the United States champion, and maybe had a surprise United States title match?
That I would have liked. That I would have liked because I think for one thing he is most deserving for one. For one, he's all the titles were not displayed. The Divas title and of course the U.S. title wasn't displayed. I even listened to earlier this week where CM Punk was on a radio show and he said that Antonio Cesaro most certainly deserves to be at WrestleMania.
But he didn't get a spot, and that kind of makes me wonder, why you put a very prestigious secondary title in the form of the United States Championship on the guy, but you do not give him a spot on your big show, your main show, WrestleMania.
Yeah, but if you realize the past couple of weeks, actually for almost the past month and a half, he's been getting jobbed a lot. How many matches has he lost, and he's a champion?
Oh,
I kind of got some
count.
James?
I kind of have something to say because I have read that a report about like a possible match, but the idea was dropped because McMahon said he wasn't an Antonio Cesaro fan, like a big fan of his. That's
wow. I can't believe that. I honestly can't believe that. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the main event. Now, people asked me all day yesterday, wherever I went, your thoughts. Billy, what do you think? What do you think, Double B? John Cena versus The Rock. Was Rock going to retain or is Cena going to win? And my answer to everyone that asked me that exact same question all day long has always been the same. If Rock would have won tonight, I would have eaten the shoe. Because it was just so
Horseshoe?
Anybody's shoe. You know what? Let me rephrase that. My shoe. Lord knows where your shoe has been. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
You don't eat his shoe.
I already had my shoe all set and I already stuffed in dog shit.
No. Well, it turns out you guys are gonna be disappointed because there will be no eating of shoes in this match.
Oh,
Thank God for that.
We've
So
seen.
we can't get a chair shot, and we can't see you eat your shoe.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. We saw so many good things in this match. The only really bad thing, Rick, I would have to say about this match with John Cena and The Rock, I was want to say anywhere between 50 to 60% of this match, the crowd just didn't really care.
No, they were not behind this match at all. They were just kind of like, yep. You know, they're like, oh, wait, I'm going to get a drink. Oh, no, I'm going to take a piss. I'm going to take a shit. Oh, can I go walk my dog right now? You know. You know what I mean? Yeah, they were not behind it at all.
God.
So, you know. They
were like, okay, we saw the match we wanted to come for.
Yeah, can I
now
get back
let's
for
get this shit
WrestleMania 30?
over with.
You know.
Exactly. James, towards this match, you know, we seen all kinds of the different finishers. You know, we saw about, I want to say maybe 2 to 3 rock bottoms. I lost count on how many attitude adjustments we've seen. We saw Cena attempt a version of the crippler crossface by Chris Benoit. Yes, you know, WWE may not say his name, but here on WGS-TV, we're going to give him the respect he deserves and actually say his name, Chris Benoit. Take that,
damn right.
WWE. But
I love
damn
it when
right.
on commentary Michael Cole was they said as John Cena went for the crippler crossface, he went, and Cena's going for the SDF. The SDF is locked in. He started a bit because he knew he was gonna say it. I thought that was brilliant.
Wrestling Commentary 101. Do not screw up the names of the moves you call.
This is why Michael Cole should not commentate.
WrestleMania becomes Botchamania.
Again.
I want to bring.
I won't ever forget the one
Hey, wait,
time.
hold on. Hold on, guys. 1 second. Yes, James.
Hey, remember going back to the whole thing with Ziggler, AJ, and Daniel Bryan? Look what almost happened again with Cena. Going for the people's elbow, but this time he hung up to the ropes because he knew that rock bottom was coming.
Or The Rock would attempt it. It's called Cena learning from his past mistakes from last year. And also, you know, I'm going to give props to The Rock, too. I mean, he did administer the sharpshooter again. But unlike last year where he screwed it up royally, he actually did it the correct way this year at this year's WrestleMania. I must say, performance-wise, the matchup was great. I wish the crowd could have been more into it. I want to say towards the latter of the match, they started getting into it when they were thinking, yeah, The Rock is going to win. You know, Rock is going to retain the WWE Championship. And then Cena out of nowhere, you know, even Cena used the rock bottom, and Rock kicked out of it. And it came down to the very last attitude adjustment from John Cena. Cena pins him, gets the win. Cena, your new WWE Champion. Going to Jmuga first. Jmuga, your first initial reactions to John Cena becoming the new WWE Champion.
Like, I was screaming, I was pulling my hair because I am a huge Team Cena fan, and I've met his father personally. I've met his father, so basically I'm just Team Cena all day, and I was just very, 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 very proud that he is the WWE Champion again.
Rick, your initial reactions to Cena becoming the WWE Champion?
For one thing, I'm going to say the quality of the match was a lot better than last year's because I thought last year's match sucked. This year's match was excellent, and I'm glad that John Cena is a champion because I really did not want to see The Rock any more champion any longer than he was because he really wasn't championship quality. He's not championship material. I mean, he's done nothing but pimped out the title, and when he comes in, he doesn't defend it. He doesn't, you know, he hasn't had it. So I'm sorry, but the right man has the right belt. It belongs around the right, you know, the waist is around the right man. So,
final score on the main event, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Even though the crowd may have disagreed with it, I still think it was a good move. And I like the fact that they actually had the two guys show a sign of respect towards each other at the end, especially towards when they were on the stage. They both raised each other's arms up, and then we had the big pyro display signifying the end of WrestleMania 29. Overall score on WrestleMania 29 this year, it's going to get a 4 out of 5 for me. I love the Miz and Wade Barrett match, even though I still kind of disagree with the fact that the Intercontinental title match took place on the pre-show when it should have had a spot on your main roster card. The Shield defeating Sheamus, Randy Orton, and Big Show. You still got to believe in the Shield. I think a loss tonight for the Shield really would have weakened the group gimmick, in my opinion. And the fact that Big Show turned on Sheamus, Randy Orton, not, if you guys think about it, not really all that surprising. Mark Henry defeating Ryback, to me, yeah, what Rick said earlier in the review, it was a bit of a swerve because a lot of people were expecting Ryback to go over initially in the match, but they had him go over physically by having Ryback shell-shock Mark Henry. Team Hell No defeating Dolph Ziggler and Big E Langston to retain the tag team titles. I thought Big E Langston, my first chance to see Big E Langston in the ring and what quality of a worker he is, I was actually very impressed with what Langston had to bring and what he has to offer. So I really look forward to seeing future matches in the WWE involving Big E Langston and what he brings to the table. Fandango defeating Chris Jericho. There are some positives and negatives about it. I think there are more negatives than there are positives with that move. I mean, one of the huge negatives is the fact that we had Jericho carry him about 75-80% of the match, and then we had Fandango go over as the winner of the match. But if anybody can put anybody over, the best person to do it is Chris Jericho, and that's what makes him such a hot commodity, a very valuable guy in the wrestling industry, is his ability to not only put himself over, but to put the guy that he's working with over as well. And Chris Jericho did, in my opinion, a marvelous job with that with Fandango, especially with the fact that a lot of people, like we already said, Fandango really didn't do that much. We didn't get to see that much of what Fandango can bring. But you got to keep in mind, you got to realize you have to look at it from the way he sells it as well as he executes it. And he did a lot of selling in this match, and he did a very good job of that as well. Alberto Del Rio defeating Jack Swagger was, again, a little bit expected. However, the most shocking thing a lot of people really see about this is the fact that Dolph Ziggler did not, I repeat, did not cash in Money in the Bank. The Undertaker defeating CM Punk in a wonderful match. A great match. You know, a lot of people are expecting kind of like last year, especially Rick from last year, who said, you know, Triple H carried The Undertaker, and in some instances, you know, you have to agree with that assessment. However, in this year's match for WrestleMania 29, it was about 50-50. I have to say a very painful moment when the table did not break on that Macho Man elbow drop spot. But, man, this match I was also into, and I thought it was really good. Triple H defeating Brock Lesnar in the no-holds-barred match. What a great match. But then again, I want to say 100% better. You know, we said Rock Cena this year was 100% better than last year's WrestleMania. Triple H Lesnar 2, a lot better than the SummerSlam encounter. I will say that, because it was a lot better. It was better executed. Lesnar looked in a lot of shape, but one thing people were lighting up Twitter about, they kind of said something about Lesnar beating the wellness policy or something about steroids because of the way Lesnar looked tonight. I don't know if there's any truth or any validity to that statement at all, so don't take my word for it or anybody else's word on Twitter unless it's been proven. That's all I can tell you guys. But in John Cena defeating The Rock to become the WWE champion, I still say the fans were kind of wrong to not give the matchup its proper respect and its due. But then again, think about the previous two matches. We had Undertaker, CM Punk, Triple H, and Brock Lesnar. Two exciting matches. You got to figure at some point the fans got to be exhausted after all that excitement. So, but in essence, it still was a good match. John Cena became the WWE champion. Overall score for me, Rick, I got to go 4 out of 5 for this year's WrestleMania. What about you? Your overall score and thoughts on WrestleMania 29?
Well, first off, I'm going to start off with the first half of WrestleMania, which is the first 4 matches. They weren't too bad. You know, again, they did a couple of good swerves, which I liked. The quality of the matches weren't bad, but I still, again, I was very highly disappointed with the Jericho Fandango match. The tag team title match again was very good. And And again, so, but it was the second half of the pay per view was really good. The quality of the matches were excellent, and I think the only thing was they were rather predictable. We knew who was going to win, but if you look at the quality of the matches, it did make up for it. So I'll have to give it overall. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. I would wish I'd give it a 5 or a 4.5 because it's WrestleMania, but the fact was is a lot of the matches you kind of knew who was going to win. But it is what it is. You can't blame that.
James, you're up next. James, your overall score and thoughts on WrestleMania 29.
For me, it's kind of like a predictable WrestleMania, but the quality of the last 4 matches, I have to agree with you, Billy, it was good. It was so good. Even though it was predictable, it was so good on how each of the 4 matches, that's the World Heavyweight, CM Punk, Taker, Lesnar, Triple H, and the WWE title match. It was good. It's just, for me, it's a predictability. But I will give it, I kind of have to disagree with y'all, but I would have to give it a 3.5 out of 5. Because I'm kind of disappointed in the Fandango Chris Jericho. And kind of like a little surprised on a couple other stuff too. And the fact that it felt like the matches could have been a little longer, or maybe had a couple more matches, even like with Antonio Cesaro, or like the surprise match. It's like it felt like time constraint. It's more time constraint with the WWE. If they take out a couple of stuff, it would have been fine.
Jmuga, what about you? Your overall score and thoughts on WrestleMania 29?
I feel like it was better than last year's WrestleMania. I think that they were more fair this year than last year. I think last year they weren't being fair, but this year I believe that they did a better job. And like I said, I'm just proud and happy that all the people that I was looking forward to winning, they actually did win. So, yeah.
So your score?
4 out of 5.
Alfie, our old friend Alfie, you get the final say. Your final score and thoughts on WrestleMania 29.
I'm going to give the whole WrestleMania, I'm going to give it a 4. I reckon it deserves a good 4 just because, well, it was entertaining to watch for a start. I don't watch many WrestleManias live, and this was a very good one to watch. Obviously, like you people, like you just said, the outcomes were predictable, but they were enjoyable. I knew who was going to win before it started. I enjoyed the whole surprise of the Big Show attacking them, because I was expecting Randy Orton to just have his heel turn there. So I was quite shocked for that, and I just all round enjoyed the night.
So what we want to know now from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on WrestleMania 29 this year. Be sure you put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Guys, Jmuga is over on youtube.com/JMugaTV. Jmuga, what you got going on over in your neck of the woods?
Well, yeah, I'm just I just do a lot of vlogs and everything else. I take you guys with me and let you into my life a little bit so you guys would know and stuff like that. So that's just go check it out, and I would really appreciate it. Thanks, Billy, for your time.
All right, that's youtube.com/JMugaTV. And guys, the Shining Star, Rick Star, is over on Hardcore Wrestling Radio every Wednesday night on blogtalkradio.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio. Rick, what you got coming up on HWR this week?
Well, this week, of course, we're going to have a WrestleMania Fallout show where we will, give some of our thoughts. We want you, the listeners, to call in and give some of your thoughts about WrestleMania. And, of course, Andy, the son of a bitch, should be on there, my co-host. And we're going to talk about some of the, news and rumors of what's going on in the wrestling world, and also talk about Raw and anything else that crosses our little minds. So feel free to join us, and if you got something to talk about, come on in. It's an Hardcore Wrestling Radio. Starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's an open show.
And also don't forget to please subscribe to youtube.com/WrestleGamer and youtube.com/ZFXTV Network. So for the Illuminous one, the Shining Star, Rick Star, Jmuga from Jmuga TV, our old friend Alfie, our friend James, and of course the mysterious mouse who was in The corner over there was indeed Chris Rogers from Walking Rays 11294. I'm Double Beam Billy Boudreaux, saying thank you very much for watching. We also like to announce that tonight's review has been brought to you by the Shining Stars brand new thick condoms. They shine when you pine.
Oh God!
Stoke answers. Stoke answers. Stoke answers. Stoke answers. Spirituals meaning Stoke answers. Stoke answers. I'm Haley Ringrose. Stoke answers.
My name's Andrew Weatherall.
Spirituals meaning Stoke answers.